and welcome all of you once again. It's Backpack, and still we are talking about Egypt and more about the important sites where you can visit. We're not only talking about Cairo or the ancient places, but also we're talking about the important sites to visit to learn and explore Egypt. The best place to explore Egypt, or the best way to explore Egypt, is by visiting its museums. In Egypt, we have many museums, one of which is the Coptic Museum. In this museum, you will find a rare collection actually of Coptic artifacts. One can say that these are the most important collection in the world. So in this museum, we are going to find out more about its artifacts that are displayed, and we all know that it was inaugurated in 1910. Let's find out together more about the Coptic Museum in Cairo. The Coptic Museum in Cairo is located in a very unique location, just inside the ruins of the Roman Babylon fort in Misr al-Qadima in Coptic Cairo center. It is an area rich with Coptic churches and chapels, like the famous Hanging Church and the Church of St. Barbara. Nobody would ever believe that the foundation of the Coptic Museum goes back to the era of the Persians, and a lot of items were added afterwards by the Roman emperors August and Trajan. The famous French scientist Maspero played a major role in the establishment of the modern museum, as he spent a long time collecting Coptic monuments from all around Egypt and preserving it. The founder of the museum in modern times is Smekka Pasha, who requested that the items in the museum to be added to the Egyptian Committee for Preserving Antiquities and Art. This man exerted huge efforts to found the building of the museum that is present right now, and which was opened to the public in 1901 with Smekka as the first head of the Coptic Museum in Cairo. The Coptic Museum today consists mainly of two major sections: the old section, established by Smekka Pasha, and the new, the section that consists of two floors, which was opened for the public in 2006 after a huge renovation and restoration in the museum. The museum displays around 1,600 items collected from various regions around Egypt and go back to different centuries in the Coptic history of Egypt, and the Coptic Museum is considered to be a complete illustration of the Coptic history in Egypt. The first section of the old museum the visitor goes to is the Ahnasia section. Ahnasia is a town that is near Beni Suef to the south of Cairo, and some Coptic items were discovered in the area that go back to the 3rd and 4th centuries AD. The site of Ahnas lies in the right bank of Bahr Yusuf at the southwestern corner of El Fayoum. During the Pharaonic times, it was the capital of the 20th nome of Upper Egypt, with a temple dedicated to the local ram god Herishef. The Greeks identified him with Heracles and called the town Heracleopolis Magna. While excavating at Ahnas in 1891, Edward Neville found a structure that he erroneously interpreted as a church. Many architectural sculptures were unearthed there, mostly niche heads, fragments of friezes with ornamental and figural decoration, and some columned in addition to pilaster capitals. As for the second section, it is the Saqqara section, where the ruins of the monastery of Saint Armenia is located with a lot of rock structures and also a lot of other items gathered from monasteries from the Fayoum and Upper Egypt. The new two-story museum consists of 8 sections. The museum also hosts the stone and portrait section which contains a lot of tempera-style stone drawings. The second part of this section contains a huge collection of beautifully decorated stone capitals that were collected from monasteries and churches from all over Egypt. These stone capitals were brought from the Copts from different regions around Egypt, and then it was reused in building Coptic structures. There are also a lot of portraits that are gathered from ancient monasteries. A portrait of the Christ with his face inside a circle of light carried by angels, found in the monastery of Apollo. There is also a considerable number of the wall paintings that were uncovered in the oratories or the rooms of prayers. These rooms are the rooms of the monks' cells. The main motifs are the enthroned Christ and the Holy Virgin Mary with the infant Christ on her laps. One of the most interesting scenes is the Virgin Mary nursing infant Christ. The cross found on the walls of Jeremiah Monastery is one of the interesting masterpieces. The monastery of Saint Jeremiah is situated in Saqqara, the ancient necropolis of Memphis. It is one of the easiest ancient Christian monasteries that one may visit in Egypt. The monastery of Saint Jeremiah, only about 15 kilometers from the Great Pyramids of Giza, located on the outskirts of Cairo. The monastery of Saint Jeremiah is situated in the southern part of the necropolis, about 500 meters from the step pyramid. This monastery was discovered by James E. Quibell when between 1906 and 1910 he excavated an area of some 18,000 square meters from the sand, unearthing a vast church, a funerary building, a refectory, monastic cells, and other buildings. At that time, a large number of elements, including decorative items, an ambon or pulpit, columns and capitals, friezes, and other architectural fragments were removed from the site to be here in the Coptic Christian Museum in Cairo. And here is the chamber that is known as the Hall of Saqqara for the sole purpose of displaying these items. It is believed that this monastery was dedicated to Saint Jeremiah for many inscriptions naming him, as well as depictions of the saint were discovered during the early excavations. With this, we come to the end of our backpack for today. Thank you all for joining us. We tried as much as we can to bring you more about the important sites to visit here in Cairo. Next time, we'll be back and more about Egypt.